for joining the program. By most accounts, Lonzo, N.W.A. sold well over 1 million copies of their first album with little to no airplay. Can you explain how amazing and rare that was, not only for now, but, you know, for back then? I mean, because if you sold 1 million copies, that means under someone in every state is probably buying your album. You know, how were they able to do that?
Man, that was one of the situations, Doc, that was just perfect timing. They were never supposed to go to the radio. They were never supposed to be mainstream. They were supposed to be strictly underground. Back then, it was a lot of underground activity because there were independent distribution networks around the country, around the world, actually. And you had your majors, then you had your independents, and the independents were always looking for something unique that the majors didn't have, so they can make as much money as they possibly could before the majors bought it, whether it be rock and roll, punk, whatever the case may be. That was a record game at that time. The independents were the ones that took the chances, fought with radio stations, fought with record stores, and as soon as this shit got enough numbers, the big boys come take it. And N.W.A. was one. They was the same thing. Michel'le was the person. Michel'le had a chain of independent record distributors around the country, and that shit started to get hot. And you had people, man. You had people in various parts of the country. Swartz Brothers. Who else? JD. I mean, SOH. You got people that in various parts of the country that could come in and buy 50,000 records, okay, and sell them. And you didn't need you didn't need radio for that because they had independent street promoters. They had DJs. DJs were very powerful back then, man. DJs were very powerful back in the day. And so you got an underground network that can support and distribute. You don't need the majors, and that was something that N.W.A. was able to take care of. N.W.A. took advantage of it. So did Luke. Okay? So did Luke for a while. And who else? Hammer did for a minute. Everybody, the independent distribution network was how a lot of people got popular in the beginning. And at some point in time, you know, like I said, you make enough money, here come a check, and everything changes. So when that happened, it was just perfect timing. Rodney King he just had his introduction to flashlight therapy on tape. You know, police got off on the shit. Riots jump off. So now, for the first time, After Police is a part of the community's chanting, not just N.W.A. The community is chanting this shit, and it just took off, man. And they got a lot of negative publicity that it turned out to be a good thing. You know, just like they had when the FBI sent them a letter. You know, that helped. Okay, when C. Dolores Tucker and Tipper Gore, they was all talking about Ice-T and N.W.A. I mean, that shit didn't do nothing but boost sales. What are they talking? Why are they so? And that's the part they don't understand. They so stupid by trying to hold a news conference or a press conference to denounce it. You making people curious about it. Okay, it's the same thing happened back in the 80s with cocaine. They was trying to denounce it. What, cocaine? Never heard it before. Where's it at? Can I find some? And dude, it was just
champagne of drugs, right?
Champagne of drugs. Okay, shit. They made people want to go find some of that stuff. And the same thing when it happened to rap records, to gangster rap. You know, they talked about it so bad. What's this? Even if you didn't know, it made you curious. If you didn't know, you still got curious, and that's the part that made people, especially when the young generation got hold to it, and it was good. Come on, man, a recipe for success. Everything they did was brand new.
The media is the reason why I went out and tried to find a two live crew tape.
See, you want to know? You know, it's like somebody telling you, your mama tell you, don't touch that, you're gonna get burnt.
I don't even know what horny is.
See what I'm saying? It's like somebody tell you, as soon as somebody tell you you can't have it, that's when you want it the most. As soon as they say you can't have it,
And you did mention.
Go ahead.
Yep. And you did mention in the past that gangster rap, N.W.A, was moving across the country at the same pace that crack was, and with that brought the gangs, and when they're going on their drive-bys, they're listening to N.W.A and stuff like that. So the fact that crack and all that was moving at the same time, you called it a recipe for disaster, I do believe.
It was the perfect storm, Doc. Perfect storm. You couldn't have had better time if you planned it.
Yeah. Would N.W.A have gone as far without Jerry Heller? Someone asked that.
No, I don't think so. I know, man, look, if I do believe in the bottom of my heart, if I was behind N.W.A, they wouldn't have made it out the blocks. Because first of all, they came after me. They came after me. Why are you leading these young men astray? That's the same reason why I did not get involved in it. Because it's when you sit and watch people attempt to destroy other people, and other people do the same thing and just get a free pass. Okay. And I felt that would be my demise. I would not get the free pass that Jerry Heller got. Jerry Heller, he knew enough to stand back. And what he did, because what he did, he always said this, and I don't care what nobody say, he always stood back in the very beginning. In the very beginning, this is Eric. I work for Eric, right? I'm not an owner. I'm the manager. Okay. And that means he separates himself. Once he became successful, it was a whole different story. There's no bullshit. You had to be there to know the truth. And once he died, he was partner.
Mm-hmm. And we've all believed and said that Jerry would never in his mind ever even think about having a group from the J community who are doing what N.W.A was doing. There would be no J's with attitude.
No. The Anti-Defamation League would not let that happen. I told you the story about the group called Two Live Jews, right?
Tell us again.
Two Live Jews were a group, I don't know where they came from. They were at Michel'le. Look it up. And they were a parody of Two Live Crew. And Don called me into the office and he says, man, I'm getting a letter from the Jewish Anti-Defamation League. I said, for what? He said, this group called Two Live Jews. And the album was not derogatory, but they said, don't give a damn what it is. You ain't gonna do it. Okay? And they shut it down. It never hit the streets. You might find a copy someplace on someplace